22nd of June. This is a bit different to face-offs we've done today. You're fighting James Springer. I'm with Bradley Fowle. Our other opponent hasn't turned up today for the face-off. You've obviously made your way down. Thank you for coming today. First of all, how are you feeling? Big night, 22nd of June at Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. 2,000 people attended the last show. How have you been leading up to this fight? And I suppose how's training going?
Yeah, not too bad. I've been deep in camp about 4 weeks now, getting their weights coming off slowly, so be ready.
It's interesting as well. Obviously, we're here today doing this. It was more like an interview. A bit annoyed that the opponent hasn't turned up.
It's one of them things.
Yeah,
I was always going to be here. If I say I'll do something, I'll do it. So
it's interesting because you and James Springer have a bit of history in terms of you was meant to fight a couple of years ago.
That's right.
And he says that you pulled out of the fight. You're saying that you fought on the same night.
I still fought on the same show, the same night, defending my British title. So
yeah, it's interesting because you go back to that, and obviously I think it adds to everything that's going to go on now with this fight. How's preparation been? Obviously, you used to do K1 as well. Do you think that element of it gives you an advantage in terms of fighting, because K1 can be quite in your face? And do you think that will give you more of an advantage over somebody who predominantly is boxed, going into a boxing ring? Obviously now you said 2020 you started boxing, or took again, stopped the K1. Going into this fight, how do you think that gives you an edge over your opponent?
I don't think it does really. Obviously, I was only 4 fights deep when I was supposed to fight him last time, and he was one of the most experienced boys on the circuit. I'll fight anyone, anytime. And with regards to him being in my face, I'll fight at the pace I want.
Yeah.
If I want to box, I'll box. If I want to stand and trade, I'll trade.
Yeah. It's interesting because obviously, if we go back to obviously that situation with you and him, he obviously come out, as I said before, and said that you sort of backed out of the fight. He's not turned up today. Does that kind of just add to it for on the night when you get in the ring with him? Is that where you're going to take your frustration out? Is there any frustration? You look quite calm, composed, relaxed. It doesn't look like it's bothered you in the slightest, but surely on the night that's going to take some frustration out on him.
I'm just going to do what I do.
Yeah.
I don't really he can't bother me. Nothing he can say. His Instagram comments, I ain't too fussed. I'll win by any means necessary on the night.
Obviously, with the card at Crystal Palace, the last show we had 2,000 people attend, the BXGP and MTGP card. How do you soak up that pressure? How do you deal with that pressure? You get a lot of people watching, sell your tickets, come down to, obviously people watching you fight. Does that pressure get to you on the night in any way, or does it more motivate you to just push on to win?
I thrive off the numbers, to be fair. I'm going to bring loads of my own down here. Obviously, we're an hour away, but they're all coming. And I thrive off it. I prefer the numbers.
Do you think?
Big stage. Yeah,
bigger stage. Your aspirations, obviously, for boxing long term is to turn pro. How important are these fights? How often do you keep active as well throughout the year and to take over as well? And how important is that in kind of your goal to get to where you need to get to?
I just train, and when fights come up, they come up. I take them 2 weeks notice, 6 weeks notice. Luckily enough, I'm going to have a good camp for this one. I had to shift quite a bit of weight. I was up at like nearly 80 kilo. I'm coming down now. I'm fighting at 71, obviously. So I had a lot of weight to lose.
How long will that take? Or obviously what you've lost going into the fight, how long does that, would it affect you negatively or positively in terms of sometimes that drastic weight loss can take a bit out of you? How's that been, obviously losing that weight?
So far I'm making it spot on. I've got about 4.5 kilos to go, so got plenty of time.
Have you seen much of your opponent, James? Obviously watched his fights or look back on the fights, and do you see anything that you can kind of expose in the ring with him?
I'm a lot bigger than him. I don't think he's going to stand up to the power, to be honest. And swings a lot of shots.
Yeah,
I just think I'm all round. I just think I'm better than him.
Yeah. And obviously, as you said, he's quite experienced. Do you think that could play as an advantage for him and a disadvantage for you, his experience in the ring? Or do you think your size, speed, power will just overlook that?
I think I've had enough fights now. I think I've fought every version of style there is to fight. And I'm going to fight how I want to fight on the night.
Yeah.
I'll box at my own pace and just...
Is there anything you look at in him that makes you change your game plan a little bit in what you're doing? Is there anything that you assess, any dangers that he's got that you're kind of ready for on the night?
Not really, no. Not really, no.
No. Do you think as well that him obviously not coming to this, there's a mental battle there between you two already, even though you haven't had the face-off? Do you think that there is a mental battle in that where he hasn't turned up? I know you don't really care too much about him. You worry about yourself on the night. But do you think you're going to have that mental edge over him? Do you think you're more cool, calm, collected, all round, outside the ring, in the ring?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
There's no one calmer.
Yeah.
Nothing gets to me. Nothing phases me. I'm definitely mentally stronger than he is.
On the night, you're walking down to the ring. It's the last moments before you get in the ring. And I ask fighters this all the time. What's going through your mind at that point? You've been on shows before, you've done this before, but in those last moments, is there any scenarios that you're playing back in your head? And that will lead me on to my next question. But when you're walking down to the ring, what are your thoughts? Or is it just blank, get in there and...
I know on the night, if I'm 100% fit, there ain't ever any doubt, any thoughts. I just know whatever I do will work. And I will be 100%, so...
Yeah, and on the night as well, ask some people about predictions. You think how you're going to win, you're going to dominate the fight, are you going to look for the knockout? Some people say you look for the knockout, it doesn't come. And if you dominate the fight, a knockout might follow. So how do you see this fight going on the night with James? And how do you want to win it?
In style, as long as I win.
Yeah.
As long as I win.
Do you think that will be, obviously you're based off your previous bouts, do you think that, are you confident that you get knockout with someone like James? Having watched his fights before, do you think that is a more likely outcome for you, a knockout or just domination?
A knockout.
Yeah. He's confident in it, man. He's confident.
I just think I'm all wrong for him.
Yeah.
I think he can't stand up to the power.
No. If he's here now, if he was here now, which he's not, if he was, and he was sitting in front of me, what would you say to him? If I, imagine I'm James for a minute. What would you say to him for this fight, and what words would you have for him?
Make sure you train hard, because you're going to need it.
22nd of June, Crystal Palace Sports Centre, sold out, packed out, 2,000 people. Join us as we watch James Springer take on Bradley Fowle. We're looking forward to it. Thank you for coming down today.
All right, mate. It's been a pleasure.